and that will be time and game. But in order to do that, well, we'll need some additional assistance from the king to get things rolling. So here are the instructions, and we've got 3 treasures to start. One of which will be the obligatory magic key. We've got a fairy water that can be used to repel enemies and can be used as a projectile. That's something new for this particular version of the randomizer. And the fighter's ring, once that's put on, that adds 2 additional attack power to our runner's total. So you can see that brings it down from a less than desirable 9 to a tolerable 11.
Yeah, those starting stats. But hey, you've got a town right next door. Looks like that town is going to be Cantlin and has some decent equipment. Of course, prices aren't randomized, so the decent equipment is worth a decent chunk of change, but definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's more just browsing for now and looking to purchase later.
Yeah, especially because there was no gold in your starting chest. There's no potential for an early purchase, unfortunately. Of course, one other thing about this seed is that it is not only a short Charlock, so that you're dropped off right at the Dragon Lord's throne room level, but it's also an open Charlock. The bridge shows up at the beginning of the, which means you don't have the all of the other equipment that you would normally need: the harp, the staff, the stones of sunlight, Erdrick's token. You don't need any of these things. And there you go. We've got seed validated by Asher as he checks that Sparko bridge. But the other problem with that is those are items that would normally be able to fill up your inventory in lieu of cursed belts that the princess won't take because they're mandatory for progression. So that means you will need a full 8 belts, or at least 7 belts and the fairy flute if they find it.
Yes, and in the early going here with our runners starting with the spell of hurt, that took a lot of that disadvantage of a lower than desired attack out of the way. So that allows for some early leveling here as we see 3 of our runners already at level 2, and actually now Asher moving up to 3 as joining Bobski there as well.
They've also picked up the heal spell.
Yes, the heal spell came at level 2, so they have the ability to be able to, well, replenish some of their HP so that way they don't die as quickly. Skeletons, however, have the spell of hurt as well, and they have no qualms about using it. It's just about as hard as their attack does.
Yeah, but with the heal spell already learned, the possibility for a heal more is now on the table.
Yeah, there are a number of different things that our runners are looking to do, not necessarily at the same time, but they're looking to plan and plot for. One of those is to have keys available, because they're going to need a key to rescue the princess who is behind a locked door. Secondly, they're going to want to build up their levels to get stronger, and well, not much you can do about a spell of hurt more as Asher finds out there with the wolf. Still a little strong for that, but they're going to want to build up their levels so they can get strong enough to be able to fight whatever is guarding the princess, which can be one of 6 different enemies. It can be a blue dragon, it can be an axe knight, a stone man, an armored knight, a golem, or a red dragon, also known as the fun police, because they're one of the toughest enemies in the game, and when they show up, the fun tends to stop. But you want to be able to handle those upper tier enemies, so you need to be able to be strong enough to do so, and here at level 4, not quite there.
Not yet, at least, of course. And there's going to be a spike tile in front of the princess, so in addition to needing that key for the door, whatever monster is guarding her will also need to be defeated, and that could be anything from a stone man to an armored knight. So, yes, it's easier to go ahead and do that than to take on the Dragon Lord himself, but certainly not necessarily trivial.
And additionally, on top of all of that, There's also the having to get all those cursed belts. So you'll be looking through various treasure chests. You'll need keys for a lot of those. And as you can see here, the deaths are rolling early in this one.
Yeah, haven't seen any of the spicy breath yet, the DL2 breath yet, but those wolves with Herdmore are out there and will go ahead and snipe anybody they run across.
I think it's already taken Asher out at least 3 times.
Our runners taking advantage of that hurt spell to make up for the fact that they don't have any equipment yet, although their strength stat is not horrible. Level 3 gave them over 10 strength, so that was definitely a much needed benefit to them.
And now there's that little bit of balance depending on the enemy that they're taking on to determine whether it's more ideal to just straight up attack them, or whether if their attack isn't quite strong enough, if they just want to use that hurt spell to get that guaranteed, or mostly guaranteed, 8 to 16 hit points of damage.
Ooh, magicians have sleep and looks like hurt. That could potentially be painful if you stay asleep for several turns.
Although crunching the numbers here, even with Bobski having the additional... Well, he doesn't have a weapon at this point, he just has the additional level, is now catching up there to level 5 as a couple of our other runners, Smashy and Sausage Link 83. But even with that 35 attack power, you're pretty much better off casting Hurt on everything except for, well, a Ghost, a Drakey, a Red Slime, and a Slime, some of the lower tier enemies.
And enough MP to be able to use it fairly consistently as well, which is also important. Looks like Bobski's gone ahead and broken out through that swamp to the west of the castle and Cantland, and is starting to do some exploration over here, running into some Drakeemas. That seems like a pretty decent grind for him at this level.
Yeah, those are great enemies in that they have fairly low HP, no more than 16. So you can usually 2-shot and occasionally 1-shot them, and just like that, that's going to send Bobski up to level 6.
And heal more! That's going to be a critical spell. Heal More really is where you start opening up the possibility of being able to take on some more serious threats, simply because you're going to be able to out-heal many things that you would normally run into. Not all of them, obviously. An Armored Knight or the Fun Police would still be able to give you troubles, but definitely makes things a lot easier.
As Bobski was able to get away from that werewolf, that's a near-end level enemy, as we have a couple of caves on Bobski's side. There is the Staff of Rain Cave, not needed in this particular flag set, as all of the items needed to build the bridge over to Charlotte Castle are already there. And it looks like Bobski has found the northern end of the Swamp Cave. So that is where the princess is being guarded.
I almost wonder if he's going to check the trap tile just so that he has that knowledge, or if he's just... Looks like he may just be going to head over to the second continent and see what's out there.
Right now he is going after, and... Well, let's see if this last shot will do it. It should, I believe, and does. Takes out the Rogue Scorpion for a big 70 experience. And that vaults him right back into the lead.
Asher, picking up some leather armor in Cantland, has done some exploration to the south of the castle. Meanwhile, Smashy and Sausage kind of behind Bobski. Bobski has found Garen, which is on the other side of the swamp cave, which gets him into the back without needing that key, and has discovered Erdrick's armor, which is the best armor in the game, a significant advantage.
Just 10 minutes in, having the best armor in the game, that is going to be a huge boost. And now enough gold here to maybe get a large shield. I think so, going to add to that defense. Still bare fisting at this point. But that is crucial.
Smashy actually taking down some fairly substantial enemies there, doing a lot to catch up, but unfortunately runs into a green dragon, cannot run away, and will get sent back home. Sausage now discovering the back end of Garenham and will be finding that armor as well.
And certainly thrilled to do so, as Bobsky now is exploring the area around Garanham and is trying to handle a knight, but it has hurt more.
Well, fortunately, he does have Erdrick's armor now that does mitigate the damage of hurt and hurt more, as well as the Dragon Lord breath. So that's definitely going to help him at least get away.
I was hoping that there was some sort of a connector to that town to the south, but there does not appear to be. At least not there to the east.
This particular seed does have several Sparko bridges.
Oh, and the Druin looks to have what we call the Wombo Combo, a combination of sleep and that Dragon Lord 2 breath. Normally does anywhere from 65 to 72 hit points of damage. Thankfully, with Erdrick's armor, that reduces the damage by a third, so to be 42 to 48. Still not great, though.
Smashy taking on a Demon Knight has defeated it for 90 experience.
That jumps Smashy, at least for the moment, into the experience lead by about 40. But Bobsky, I would say, having the advantage of exploration, having already found that Erdrick's armor. Same thing with Sausage Link.
I would actually agree with you, although one thing Smashy did that I thought was kind of interesting is he went back to Cantlin and purchased several bottles of fairy water, which, as we noted earlier, can be used in combat. Effectively, it's a hurt spell, but it bypasses hurt spell resistances. So on enemies that are more resistant to hurt, like, say, those Demon Knights, a very useful tool.
Yeah, that's what allowed him to vault ahead. Gonna go and buy some more here, and that seems to be the strategy, at least until a few more levels are able to be obtained. But Bobsky now finding Rimmildar.
And Asher finding Jerk Cave, which also is, sir, not applicable to this particular seed set.
The town of Rimmildar, that's important because that's the only place where you have free access to purchasing magic keys. I did say those keys were important. Problem, though, kind of hard to buy keys if you don't have any money.
Give me a suit that's made out of loot.
So Bobsky working on a grind, got 110 gold out of that Rogue Scorpion. Going to try to get another here. Asher, meanwhile, finding the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which this time around has a magic key as well.
That's actually really huge because remember, there is a key vendor in the back of Tantagel Castle. This actually unlocks keys for Asher without needing to find Rimmildar. That could be an enormous advantage to potentially exploit.
Oh, but gets wrecked by a werewolf and sent back to the castle. Now, you only have the ability to purchase one key, so that won't be enough, as the keys in Tantagel are 85, a little bit of a sale based on the Rimmildar village there, only 53 per key.
Speaking of which, Bobsky has made his way into Rimmildar, is going to go ahead and purchase at least one key as well. That is really going to help him out. And keep in mind that, even if you only have enough to buy that one key in Tantagel, that still gives you access to the basement and whatever might be down there.
Or if you like, that gives you the option to open up the treasury, which has 4 different treasure chests. Maybe one of them has a magic key to replace it in it. Maybe it has some gold. It's hard to say.
And if it has a cursed belt in there, it sets up the possibility not of a gold grind, but of a belt grind. Same basic concept. This being an NES level game, memory is very limited. It can only remember the opening of 8 chests before it hits the overworld. You go more than that, it can't remember that you've actually opened the chest, allowing you to take it multiple times, and will let you fill up on cursed belts quite easily.
Or whatever item you leave behind. So if you needed a bunch of fairy waters, you could set up the grind for that if it's in there. If you needed a bunch of gold to buy some of the more pristine weapons and armor, well, more so weapons and shields, since we have Erdrick's armor found by a good portion of our runners here. As now, almost in stereo, Asher and Sausage finding Rimmildar.
Bobsky continuing to explore, looking for some dungeons to delve in, I'm betting. Probably really hoping to find either Mountain or Garen's Grave. Both of those have quite a few chests to check out.
That's right. Well, we do know that the back of Garenham's already squared away, but yes, Garen's Grave is a possibility. That requires a key to look for 2 of the 5 chests that are there. And then there's the 5 in the Mountain Cave as well.
Yeah, but those first 3 chests in Garen's Grave is fairly close to the entrance, and if there's a belt there, that could set up a pseudo grind, just leaving, coming back in, leaving, coming back in.
Yeah, there is that possibility. Whatever it takes to make the search for the cursed belts a little bit easier, as Sausage picking up a hand axe in Rimmildar and now heading back to get some keys. Bobsky getting sniped by the rogue scorpion. And is neck and neck with Smashy in terms of experience. They're at a 6 differential at the immediate moment. But now Bobsky's going to be the first to check the treasury here. In Tanagal, we've got a set of wings. There's a replacement magic key. There's the death necklace. And an herb.
Well, potential key grind there, if nothing else. Now he's going to go check out the basement.
Or even a very slow gold grind, as the death necklace can only be taken once, and then it's replaced by gold roughly 100 or so at a time, as opposed to the 500 to 750. So you theoretically could do a gold grind. It would just be slower than normal.
Is that tablet cave Bobsky found in the back?
That is Tablet Cave in the back of Tanagal Castle, so no enemy encounters, and just 1 treasure chest at the end. I don't believe our runners have outside as of yet, so he'll have to make the long way back, and there is some... Oh, there's the big gold chest down there, so for a roughly 23-second walk, there is your gold grind.
Yeah, all you would need is at least 1 more chest taken, because then when you do the death warp, you've got the 3 up in the throne room that counts, and then the 4 in the armory. So there you go, you've got your gold grind set up, and then you just start grinding on that, yeah. And considering you do have the flame sword available right next door in Cantlin, that might not be the worst idea in the world.
I wonder if any of our runners will be savvy enough to kind of go a different route with it. Let's see here. Here's the coordinates. Ooh, 76 north and 10 east. I don't know if anybody's necessarily counting those out. I mean, it might lead to Erdrick's sword. It might lead to Fairy Flute, which can put those golems to sleep, like Sausage is running into here. But that looks like it's an annoying count, and I don't think anybody's gonna. If you're gonna rescue the princess, well, it's game over anyway. So, yeah, that's your grounds for victory. So I don't think that the search tile is going to come into play.
Probably not. If it was low-hanging fruit, if it was relatively close to the castle, I could see them maybe attempting it. But with those kind of coordinates, I very much doubt anybody's going to bother with it.
No, if it was 10 north and 12 west, I could see that being easily counted. But 76 to the north, there's a lot of winding around water that has to go, and a few mountains as well. And you can see there's bridges. So no, that would be something that would provide a struggle even for some of our more pronounced counters in the overworld, such as the Game Boy F9 or Mr. Holmes. To name a few, I don't want to leave anybody out.
Looks like Smashy ran into one of those wolves casting Hurt more. We'll be sending him back home, unfortunately. Blue Dragons with a sleep spell and Dragon Lord 2 breath. Looks like Blue Dragons are another enemy with the Wombo combo.
How problematic would it be if that was the enemy guarding the princess?
Yeah, that and Blue Dragons are on the list of monsters that potentially could be guarding her.
And if it turns out we find out later in the seed that that is the case, that's where the hashtag Blame Burgundy comes into play.
Now, another interesting thing the players could do, Cantlin is right next door to the castle. You could, with the key in the armory, you could go get the death necklace, go to Cantlin, sell it, come back at, like, what is it, 1,500 a pop?
Well, not exactly, in that, well, it's 1,200 to sell the death necklace, but the death necklace only appears once. If you collect it, and then go back to that chest, even if you sell it, all you'll get is gold ranging around 100 to 120. So you can't do a death necklace grind to keep selling. No, probably your best bet, depending on, let's see, what cave is... Okay, that's the that's the tablet cave underneath. Probably our best bet for our runners is to take the swamp cave to the back of Garenham, take the 3 chests in there, go back into the swamp cave, then they can death warp from there, and then open up the treasury and go deep down into the basement if they wanted to do a gold grind right by there. That would be a slightly more convoluted than standard way to do so, but that would probably be their best bet if they wanted to get a gold grind going.
Well, it would definitely be a guaranteed way to get Gold Grind activated, so there is that.
But I think given that our runners are looking to explore, they're probably going to find something along the realm of either Garen's Grave, the Mountain Cave, because, I mean, they're still looking for treasures to get those cursed belts. We haven't found those yet. Plus, we haven't seen Sharlock either, the home of the Dragon Lord, as with those keys, that allows access to 7 more treasure chests.
Yep, Smashy has not yet found Erdrick's arm, or has not gone through that swamp cave yet, unfortunately, but he's going to be getting the bad news about the coordinates. I don't think he's going to try and count those out, but that's actually hurting him a little bit in his progression, because his armor is not as good as some of the others.
Indeed. So we have a question in chat. Why is the magic point stat orange for Bobsky and Smashy, rather? So we have gauges as far as how far along our runners are. If you see it red, or dare I say even flashing red in the beginning, those are your subpar starting totals. White means that you're kind of on the path to there. Orange means with some other really good stats, you're borderline. And if you see green, that means that's a very fair number to be able to go with other stats. So as noted in chat by Angel FM, it indicates that it's possibly enough to defeat the Dragon Lord, but given that everything else is still in the white, they are nowhere close. But again, that's more for challenging the Dragon Lord, and the Dragon Lord isn't really a factor in this seed, as the goal is Cursed Princess. You want to load your inventory full of cursed belts, rescue the princess, and when you rescue the princess and take her back to the castle, she gives you an item known as Gwaelin's Love, which allows you to let you know where she is in relation to your positioning in the world. But because it's an item in the inventory, if your inventory's full, she has to take something. she will take the item of the least financial value. So you want to make sure that you do not have in your inventory any torches, any fighter's rings, any dragon scales, any fairy waters, or any wings. Those are all items that are of lower value than the cursed belt. You can have cursed belts, obviously, in the inventory. That's what you want. You can have the death necklace in your inventory, as that is of a greater value, and you can have the fairy flute, as that is an essential item that cannot be taken.
And of course, herbs and keys don't count. They're actually handled separately according to the logistics and logic of the
Yeah, there's a separate window for herbs and keys that aren't part of the 8 items that can be in your inventory of all the other items.
Right, and you want to make sure that you count out and make sure that you've got as many. Oh, looks like the spike tile in Swamp Cave Bobski is checking is a stone man with DL2 breast.
Oh no. Made, thankfully, a little bit easier with that Erdrick's armor, but at least you have that knowledge.
That's actually really useful knowledge, and stone men are pretty vulnerable to that sleep spell, in which case it doesn't matter what his abilities are.
Unless it wakes up.
Until it wakes up. Yes, there is that. So you definitely want to be able to make sure you can take a couple of DL2 breaths, but other than that, it could be worse.
Well, Smashy going to find out the not-so-great news here. There is the Stone Man, does not have the spell of sleep yet, as Stone Men are pretty susceptible to sleep. I believe they only have a 2 out of 16 chance of resisting it.
And because Smashy does not have Aerodrake's armor, gets hit for 66 by the DL2 breath, one-shots, and sent back home. Ooh, Asher has found the City of Coal, which does have a search tile. Let's see what's on there. And has found nothing, so okay.
Yeah, it can be a pool of a few different items, including Erdrick's armor, Erdrick's sword, the fighter's ring, the death necklace. We know Erdrick's armor is not a part of it. Also, the fairy flute could be there, as it is in vanilla. But in this case, there's nothing, which means that at least one of those items is in a treasure chest, as we saw Erdrick's armor in the chest in the back of Garanham.
It could also be a cursed belt.
I don't know if curse belts can be in these search tiles either in Coal, Hawk's Nest, or the Overworld. I think they can just be in treasure chests. I could be wrong on that. I know that McGrew's been doing a lot of shuffling around with this game, even beyond my comprehension in some cases.
Yeah, nobody has found Hawksness either. That's another search tile that could potentially give them the sword at the very least, which would be a useful piece of equipment. Maybe not as critical, since it's just, 12 more attack power over a flame sword, which is available in either Cantlin or Coal.
This is true, and we're getting confirmation from the creator of the game, McGrew, that the cursed belts can only be in treasure chests. So this is one of my being right twice a day as like a stopwatch. They are only right twice a day. So that was my one. We'll see if we can get another in here. At least in the next couple of hours.
22 MP on level 9 for Smashy.
And we had a brief finding there of the town of Breckenary, I believe.
Oh no, Droll Magi is also with the DL2 breath.
And looking at the crowd, there was much rejoicing.
Yay.
So Bobski gonna go into Coal and find his bupkis. And Sausage Link gonna find the fire-breathing stone.
Although
And
we'll
running
not,
right away from it.
Yeah, will not pick up the knowledge that it has the DL2 breath, unfortunately for him. That could be a very rude awakening later on. Ooh, Asher, finding the Dragon Lord's castle of Charlock. Of course, he's got the keys to go into the armory, and of course there is the judge's table as well. Shall we play a little bit of pyramid?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that we're looking for, so it's not like there's one specific thing, but let's see here. In the 150 chest, we've got the Cursed Belt. That's helpful. And there's an herb in the bottom middle. That, I believe, is also an herb. We've got some big bucks in the middle left, big bucks up top, and a belt in the 250 as well. So, 2 cursed belts down in Charlock, and maybe a third if we see here in the vanilla Erdrick sword spot.
And since, of course, it's so close to the entrance, this is probably where most of our runners are going to be able to pick up their belts to be able to get the princess taken care of.
Asher going to throw the Radiant on just to make sure he's walking in the right spot, and there's a set of wings in the vanilla chest.
It gives you wings!
So a little bit low on the key inventory, though. That's a little bit of a concern, and maybe that's why Asher... Oh, okay. Asher thought, maybe I can take on a wizard. Nope.
Well, you know, if he does die here, he's picked up so many chests here that gold grind is going to get activated as soon as he gets back to town. That could set up a gold grind for a flame sword next door.
Well, first thing he's going to want to do is go back and buy more keys.
Which is on the way to the gold chest. Ah, well, looks like not.
Do neither. Ooh. Perhaps a little crossed up there. And yeah, just realizing, so that grind has been lost at this point, as now going up to level 9 is Bobski.
However, he knows he's going to want to go back to Charlock to be able to continue picking up those belts. I could definitely see him picking up as many belts as he's going to need, get that taken care of right off the bat, taking an intentional death warp and getting it done.
That certainly is a possibility, is that that increase in equipment will just make the grind that much easier. As Bobski now going to get a magic key here.
Yeah, unfortunately that strength is not going to be high enough, even with the flame sword, to really do enough damage to the stone man, especially not a stone man with the DL2 breath, to be able to reliably take him on, but it will definitely make it a lot lower level needed to be able to do so.
Yeah, at this point, just using Bobski and Smashy's levels here with their broadsword at level 9, they have 68 attack power. That means they'd be, on average, doing 12 to 24 hit points of damage on a stone man, and a stone man can have up to 135. So you're looking to go, on average, 8 rounds.
Oh my, Bobski ran into an armored knight, or the AK-47 as we like to refer to them in the community due to how hard they hit, and he's got DL2 breath.
That seems to be a common theme for this particular seed.
There's some commentary about a race last night where there were more enemies with DL2 breath than without.
Bobsky running into the John Cena that is a metal slime, as it has 3 hit points, gives you maximum experience of 255, but it almost always kicks out at 2. Just like John Cena.
Meanwhile, Bobsky taking down a Rogue Scorpion for 70 experience, which is still a healthy gain.
Yeah, piling on those experience points as you're looking around, that is the delicate balance. That is the Cursed Princess percent. It's not just necessarily about getting the levels, the equipment. It's a little different than finding all those fetch quest items, the Silver Harp, Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, Erdrick's Token. That's already squared away for you. You just got to find cursed belts, fill your inventory full of them, rescue the princess, take her back to the castle, and that is your game. But it sounds a lot simpler than it actually is.
Asher running into one of the armored knights and getting sent back home with that DL2 breath. Smashy now reliably taking down wolves. That's pretty consistent experience at this level.
Yeah, I mean, with the level 9, you want to try to find enemies that are in that, if you can, 40 to 70 experience range. Those are usually pretty solid for you. So whether it's a wolf, a wraith, a specter, wolf lord, druid lord, droll magi, wyverns, those are what our runners are kind of looking for. Anything bigger than that at this point, kind of beefy, although Bobsky is going to try his luck at a wizard here. And Smashy taking on and taking out a magi wyvern.
Well, fortunately, the wizard only has a hurt spell, not anything more dangerous that he's revealed yet. So this actually should be possible for Bobsky, and he only needs, another 300 experience for his level?
Yep, 304, and the wizard has heal.
And a 15 out of 16 resistance to hurt, as I recall.
Oh, down to the last potential swing here, and no, Bobsky biting off more than he can chew with the wizard. And Smashy briefly getting tied up with a John Cena metal slime. Oh, before a werewolf snipes and takes him back to the castle.
Asher has now found Charlock and is probably going to be picking up his 2 belts.
Well, Asher was the one who initially found it, so like John Sebastian in 1976, welcome back.
Yeah, I know that if I were in Asher's position, I would be picking up as many cursed belts until I literally have no more room for them at all. Unfortunately, earlier this week, there was a runner who miscounted and had an inventory slot available when he turned in Princess Gwendolyn.
I have seen that happen on 2 different occasions over the course of this week during League play, and it is just crushing when it happens. Question in chat. John Sebastian was the musician who penned what you probably know as the theme to the TV show Welcome Back, Kotter.
Man, there are a lot of Sparko bridges on this seed.
And yes, I realize that a lot of people tuned in here have probably not heard of that show, but that's because, yeah, it was a sitcom back in the 1970s that even predates my birth. And I'm rather life experienced, we'll put it that way.
You and me both.
There's a reason I rock a three-piece suit and an afro. It's very anachronistic, for lack of a better term.
Could be worse. Could be parachute pants.
I was around for those. That was the early '90s. I was.
Hey man, you can't touch those.
Oh, sneaky, don't hurt me. All right.
Ooh, there is the Fun Police has Stop Spell, which is actually a good thing in this case. Asher does have Erdrick's armor, rendering him completely immune to Stop Spell, meaning every time the dragon tries to cast Stop Spell on him, it's a free attempt to, in this case, run screaming into the hills.
Yeah, at this point, it might be a little... more than a little unlikely for Asher to take on and take out a red dragon, as even with all those casting as a stop spell, the red dragon has up to 106 HP, and with that 49 attack power, you're looking at a damage range of 1 to 2.
And Asher, I believe, now has enough Cursed Belts to be able to trigger Cursed Princess, knows where the princess is, and knows what's guarding the princess. We could see somebody pulling ahead here.
Ooh, well, a nice crit here by Asher to get a potential 135 experience here from the Green Dragon. This is a bold move, but might be able to make it work here. And does so.
Oh, yes. As was pointed out, he doesn't have the outside spell yet, so you would have to not only go through that Stone Man, hope that sleep lands long enough to be able to take it down, and be able to go back through it with the princess in tow. So, probably not viable yet.
I'm wondering if there was a weapon upgrade on... Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, no, Hurt's not going to get it done there, Asher.
Gee, wouldn't it be great to have some fairy water right now?
Well, for those of you just joining us, as we're about 45 minutes in here, our runners are looking to rescue the princess and have their inventory full of cursed belts. Asher, the first one to fill the inventory with cursed belts at this point. But our runners, none of them really ready to take on the guardian of the princess, which is the Stone Man, especially given that Stone Man has the Dragon Lord Two Breath in tow.
And if you do happen to like this content, do give our runners a follow on their own Twitch channels. These are all great people who do a lot of stuff on their own stream in addition to Dragon Warrior Randomizer. And of course, I am Sneaky the Lost. With me in the commentator's booth is Ferran Burgundy, Kamion Renokai, Archfield Monk are our trackers, and Math Girl is on the restream so that everyone else can enjoy this as well.
And there's a question in chat, does Fairy Water do the same damage as Torches? I believe Fairy Water does the same damage as the Spell of Herd, as is confirmed by McGrew. But I believe the Torches only do, 6 to 9 HP of damage?
Something like that, yeah.
It does less than the Fairy Water does. I can confirm that much. I don't have the specific ranges in hand, but I believe it's something around that realm.
Yeah, I believe it does. It's roughly half of what a hurt spell would do. And Smashy getting into Charlock, finding a red dragon, and apparently they also have the hurt spell in addition to the stop spell.
So once you're strong enough to do some damage to these, they are very juicy enemies for grinding.
Yeah, this fun police has definitely had its fangs pulled for the most part.
And I guess we could theoretically call the Stone Man the Wall for the purposes of this here. Obviously going for a late 90s WCW reference, or maybe a late 80s American Gladiators reference. Take your pick.
You see, I was gonna go for a Pink Floyd reference here.
Ooh, or early 80s Pink Floyd reference. So there's a number of different options. And yes, there is one that's more current, and we're not going there.
Looks like Sausage has made his way into Charlock, and will be picking up his belts, most likely. No one has glommed on to the fact that there is that gold grind available in Tablet Cave, though.
Well, maybe they're waiting for acquisition of the Spell of Outside to try to save them a little bit there. Maybe they're trying to make sure they get all the errands done of acquiring the cursed belts as Asher has done. Although the drawback to that is Asher is fairly behind the rest of the runners in terms of experience, but if all Asher has to worry about is grinding up the levels while everybody else is still doing their proverbial homework, that could swing things back into Asher's favor.
Yep, Bobski, running into a golem, unable to run away, was sent back home.
Smashy and Sausage Link looking to catch up here in terms of getting those cursed belts. And Asher now is gonna take a look here at the Stone Man. He's not gonna go for it here, is he? He's gonna give it a try and find out the hard way that that's not gonna work out so well.
That's gotta be a 75% breath chance.
But now a fire here will send Asher back.
Yeah, you need more hit points to be able to do that. I'm sorry. You're gonna need almost Dragon Lord viable hit points for the same reason of the Dragon Lord, because you've got that 48 point max on the Dragon Breath.
Well, question here from chat. The story of the seed so far pretty much summed up in a Dragon Lord 2 breathing Stone Man guarding the princess, and the only access to cursed belts we found thus far are in Charlock.
And no one has yet learned the outside spell, which means if you do rescue the princess, you have to walk back out through another encounter with said Stone Man.
So let's see here, just kind of crunching the numbers. So even if we take Smashy's total of 72 attack power, you're looking to have to go 7 rounds with the Stone Man as you're hitting from 13 to 26.
Oops, Smashy looks like Smashy may be doing that gold grind we were talking about. If nothing else, he's buying keys here in Tantago.
Possibly.
And a question in chat, is Ash an agility build? And the answer is yes. Asher is actually doing an agility MP build. And maybe we should explain that for our newcomers.
Well, yes. Something that I know I never learned as a kid playing the game here is that depending on the first 4 characters that you enter as your name, it does calculate 2 of the 4 statistics to get a bonus, and then 2 that take about a 10% hit by comparison. In most runners' cases, like the capital Z that you see on Sausage Link and Bobsky's end, that gives a bonus to the strength and HP. The lowercase ASH that's entered in for Asher, that gives a bonus to strength and agility. And the left parentheses that is being used by Smashy, that is also a strength agility build.
And pardon me, I apologize. It's he's actually got a strength agility build for Asher, not agility MP. It looks like a level 11 gave the return spell, but not outside. And the return spell will not work in dungeons, so that would still mean having to fight that stone man with DL2 breath twice. And that's going to be a painful prospect. So they're probably going to at least be grinding until they get the outside spell.
Well, Sausage doing a little bit of exploration, having found the mountain cave, but is very low on resources here.
Knight's very potentially dangerous with heal and hurt more. However, would manage to get the stop spell to land, and that's 80 experience or 78 experience points. That's nothing to sneeze at this level.
Well, and a question from chat, where can Erdrick's sword be? Well, at this point, it could either be here in the Mountain Cave, in Garen's Grave, the Overworld Search spot, or in Hawksness. We've got another cursed belt here in the Mountain Cave.
Actually, we've seen the Death Necklace. The only thing that could be on the coordinates tile, other than the big stick, is gonna be the Fairy Flute.
There is level 11 now for Bobsky.
Unfortunately, that strength of 50 is really not where they're wanting it to be either. So that's the other reason they're probably going to be grinding at least until they get an outside spell. At that point, they're probably going to take a look at their stats and see what kind of chances they have realistically.
Sausage still fighting on minimal resources.
Excellent move, takes down that wolf. And of course, with Erdrick's armor, you are healing 1 hit point per step. Oh, hey, we have found the Fairy Flute in the Mountain Cave, which means the coordinates have to be the sword. There's nothing else that it could be.
And I'm pretty sure that people are not going to make that 76 and 10 count on their own.
No, I would personally have gone for that gold grind to pick up the flame sword in Cantlin next door.
On the question chat, would the spell of sleep not be valuable here, given that the Guardian is a stone man? It most certainly would. However, it has not yet been learned by our runners, at least at level 11. They are guaranteed to learn all, in this case, 9 spells by level 16, as Hurtmore is excluded from it.
Here we are almost 55 minutes into the game, and at this point it looks like our runners, most of them have picked up the belts and are settling into grind and go mode.
So now up to 12 for Smashy. Still no sleep, still no outside. Sausage taking a death. Now I wonder if this is where the Death Warp comes in for a potential grind here on Sausage.
Nope.
Oh, or not. Okay.
Yeah, because there's that flame sword there. He is, however, picking up a broadsword, which is definitely going to be an upgrade for him. So there is that.
I'm just wondering if that's something that has crossed anybody's mind. I guess because there's so much else going through that they don't know that deep in the basement there is that gold grind available. So that may be something to ask our runners, is whether that was something that crossed their mind, given that just 2 steps away from the castle was Cantlin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame the runners for not realizing that, considering Tablet Cave in the basement is not something you normally really care about. And also, I mean, you're in the middle of this, there's an awful lot of stress on you. And it's so easy to just space even the simplest things, and that is by no means a simple thing to realize.
Oh, not at all. And it's not any kind of indictment on the runners to not necessarily know that. It's just interesting to see what's going through their mind, whether that was a possibility that went through their mind.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting question to ask. But yeah, with these races, almost anything can happen. I have seen some of these races where it was 45 minutes before the runners got out of zone 1. And I've seen some where the guy won in 26 minutes? So you never really know with these seeds.
And then you can have the seed like I just practiced on, where it took, a little over an hour and a half. So there is certainly a variance.
I think at this point, all 4 of the runners have validated the seed on one of those Sparko Bridge tiles. Sparko Bridge, for those of you who are not familiar with the community, is where you have a single tile, especially a single swamp tile on the other side of a bridge, and to validate, you search the tile just to be sure there's nothing in it.
Well, Bobsky hanging on to a pretty hefty amount of gold here. And now runs into a couple of caves. I believe, there's the mountain cave.
Halls of the Mountain Cave. Do, 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 do. Sausage finding himself a metal slime, and it promptly ran away. He does have to worry about it, the area he's in, though. The werewolves are decent, but the druids have DL2 breath that can be a very unpleasant surprise for him.
If you're enjoying what you're seeing and have more curiosity about the different options of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer, you can download the randomizer at the link provided in the chat. And for races, tips, tricks, and more, you can join the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Community Discord, also provided in the chat link.
And who knows, we might see you participating in the next tournament. Looks like all of our runners are really just grinding at this point, trying to get the experience to be able to get either the outside, well, almost certainly going to be one of the outside, but also getting either the sleep spell or just enough hit points to be able to survive.
Well, looks like Smashy is giving it a go here with the 93 HP. Now, 73 attack. It's going to have to last 7 rounds. There is the possibility for it here.
Yeah, but then he's going to have to go back through it on the way out.
Feels very much like a Dragon Lord 2 fight. Gotta stay above 48.
Risky attack on 47 pays off.
Still 5 more heal mores. Hoping for the Stone Man to attack, and there it is.
Now, don't break out your GGs just yet. He still has to get the princess and get her back to dear old dad, which means going back through that Stone Man a second time.
But at least the second time around, you have the option to try to run away, and it puts you over to the other side.
Oh, there we go. Now, assuming he doesn't run into anything else obnoxious, we maybe see Smashy pulling into first.
Well, there's the exit. Here's the casting of return.
And break out your GGs, everybody. Smashy walking into first place.
Well, let's make sure the inventory's good. Let's not call it early here. We've already seen it happen twice this week. And there it is. So yes, get out your GGs if you haven't already. Smashy is going to take first place in a very crucial 5 points here with an official SRL time of 63 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh my, what a lovely corset.
So Bobsky now going to go for the Stone Man here at level 11.
Now that's going to be a lot riskier of a proposition. At least Smashy had 93 hit points. With only 83 hit points, the odds of having to do 2 heal mores in a row go way up.
We're looking to have Smashy join us momentarily here in the commentators booth. Bobski gonna gamble at 39, and it's not gonna pay off. At 83 HP and the consistency of the DL2 breath between that range of 42 to 48. Even with a min roll, you're left with 41. You're relying on Stone Man attacks, and it's just not there. And 12 looks like a huge HP boost, as it'll jump up 17 for those with the Strength HP build.
Yeah, but Sausage Link is actually going ahead and taking on the Stone Man with a maximum HP of 100, is in actually a lot better position, because if he's at full health, he guarantees the ability to take 2 Dragon Lord breaths before needing to heal. The only problem is he walked in with very low MP, and I don't think he realizes he doesn't have outside.
Oh, and he attacked... I don't know if that was a miss menu. Might have been, but... As we pause for a moment here, we have our victor, Smashy, in the commentator's booth. Congratulations and GG on the 5 points.
GG.
That one was a bit of a slog, to say the least. The spells that you wanted weren't coming. We still haven't seen Sleeper outside. And it seemed like there was DL2 breath here, there, and everywhere.
Well, I was more annoyed at the start with all the sleep, and it's like, oh, I'm being put to sleep by this red slime. Oh, this magician just put me to sleep. Wait, this scorpion? Oh, he put me to sleep as well. It's just like,
I think with the start of the hurt spell, it seemed like things were just kind of going rampant.
Well, yeah, you had the good start at the beginning, and then it's just like, well, the strength isn't exploding, and I sold a death necklace for broadsword money. I think that was a good idea. And also failed to walk through Swamp Cave to obtain armor. That was kind of annoying. But yeah, it was kind of tricky just finding that next tier of monsters, and we have to... I mean, I didn't have to resort to buying a bunch of fairy water and throwing holy hand grenades at demon knights, but I think it helped a little bit.
Let me ask you, did you ever consider doing a gold grind? There was the gold chest in the basement of Tentacle Castle in Tablet Cave.
By the time I found an opportunity to do a gold grind, I think at that point all I could get was Flame Sword, and I didn't want to spend that time as late as it was, because I took a while to go through that.
There's certainly some sense and sensibility to that. I don't think we saw a Silver Shield at any point. But we do see Sausage, having taken out the Stone Man, has gotten the embrace from Princess Gwalen. She's so happy, and now it's just a matter of getting out of there.
Well, as long as he hits that run attempted against the snow... No, don't fight the Stone Man, you can run!
Oh no. Is he really going to try to beat his head against this stone wall?
Don't beat your head on stone walls that are on fire.
And Asher also going down to make his attempt. If Sausage ends up falling to the second Stone Man, we could see a rather upsetting turn of events for second place.
Yeah, Asher could come in and snipe this here if Sausage runs into an issue. All you have to do is run away from this issue. But I don't think he necessarily knows that you can run away and be sent back to the outer tile.
So yeah, just a quick thing I'm wondering about, was the third belt ever located, or did everybody use Sharlock?
Yes, the third belt was located, as Sausage was able to take out that second Stone Man and is now outside and is going to cast Return, and that all but confirms second place here for Sausage Land. So we'll definitely have to ask about that, but to answer your question, Smashy, the third cursed belt was in the upper chest of Mountain Cave.
Yeah, that's not that bad. And when that Sharlock saved me, though, those red dragons pretty much just saved me. Because I hadn't found either 5-chest cave, and I saw a Sharlock, and then I went north, and I was thinking, does this actually loop all the way around? And it turns out it didn't. Well, you had those easy red dragons, and the only problem is, and this is kind of just me getting caught thinking normal instead of this particular flag set. Usually I don't run around with a lot of keys because usually you don't actually need that many, but I got into Sharlock Treasury and thought, ooh, wow, 2 belts, I'm good to... Oh, wait, I don't have enough keys to actually get them all and then go save the princess, so I just took the quick death warp, bought keys, got back there, and just finished up.
And there's Asher finishing up third place. A little bit of an upset. Bobski, for the longest of times, was actually in the lead, experience-wise, but has ended up actually in fourth place in this one by less than 10 minutes.
More than likely. Sausage's official time in second place is 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 41 seconds. Asher finishing in third in even 1 hour and 12 minutes. And Asher noting that he hasn't been able to get Discord voice to work, so he's going to just hop into Twitch here and communicate via the Twitch chat.
The time difference between second and fourth place is less than 3 minutes, maybe, or at least less than 5. Please tell me he's not going to try to hero walk this.
Well, maybe if Bobski already saw the SRL, maybe he's just kind of going for show.
Bobski, no. Bobski, why?
I think he does not care anymore.
Either that, or, I mean, does he know he has return?
Because if he gets smacked down... And I don't think...
If he gets smacked down, there probably will be the forfeit coming.
And I don't think he's got that fairy flute. He never found Mountain Cave.
I'm trying to think, is Sword on the coordinates?
Yes.
Just by process of elimination?
As far as the things that are available, yeah, it's as though Bobski did decide to go the scenic route.
I mean, you have to get the princess used to the locale after you're going to give her something that gets her booted out of the castle, more than likely.
Alright, so with Bobski taking the scenic route there, he's going to finish taking fourth place with 1 point. The official SRL time, 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 25 seconds. So only a little more than 10 minutes separating first and fourth place.
Yeah, that was definitely a close seed. All 4 of our runners were doing a really good job of getting things taken care of.
And I'm looking at looking at the SRL comments. Bobsky, thou hast failed to run from a golem. And Asher's comment, I thought I'd like this flag set more. Very, very understandable. Hard to disagree.
And of course, coming up very soon is going to be another race. So stay tuned and don't touch that Twitch stream.
Yeah, coming up actually right here on Randomania in just about 15 minutes, a little less than. It's going to be Centroid 41, Will Wagner Music, Fry Teeth, and Guelph 45. Or 35, rather. Guelph 35. And that is the Group 6 matchup. So they're trying to... They're right on the cusp of contention here. So this is a very, very crucial 5 points.
Rolled our chest was gold.
So I actually was going for the gold grind for that flame sword, but I didn't want to spend my last key.
Uh-huh.
Because of the 2 gold chests in Sharlock, which I died getting to at least twice to go being unable to run, which was just as good that was the last enemy that I failed to run from many times.
This is Bobsky joining us here in the commentator's booth. I'm guessing that the scenic route that you'd taken at the end there, was that just a little bit of show, I guess?
I was trying to show my displeasure in finishing last on what I felt like I played pretty decently, but got blocked by golems and everything else that was nasty on the way to Sharlock, which was a fascinating seed on that map on that second continent.
Yeah, Sparko bridges left and right all over this map, but you were actually in a fairly commanding experience point lead through most of the match.
I'm wholly unsurprised by that. I kind of was alluding to, I'm pretty disappointed in how that finished out, and some of it's just dying, and some of it's not knowing where to go because you keep dying on your way to go the right way.
I mean, that being said, it was still a rather close race. I mean, all 4 times finishing within about 10 minutes, probably would have been less than with a quicker return, sans the displeasure showing. I mean, it was certainly exciting. It certainly had its challenges. There was a lot of things with sleep, a lot of things with DL2 breath. So, I mean, some of that was RNG, and some of it was just different decisions that were made.
Yeah, where was the Erdrick sword? Was that on the map, or was that in one of the top 3 chests? Really?
That was the coordinates.
Yeah.
Okay, I definitely wasn't counting that out. I just kind of assumed that I was just going to go without it if I needed it.
Yeah, the flute was in Mountain Cave, and so the sword was the only thing left that could have been in those coordinates.
Yeah, I in my little notepad, I have a thing for the coordinates. I saw those coordinates, I just immediately typed in, nope. Because those were definitely princess coordinates, and oh, wait a sec, by the time you grab the princess, you're going to finish the seed. So it's just like, yeah, whatever.
I can imagine that. Thou must go 76, nope, as opposed to north.
But anyways, I just want to say a huge thank you to the Restream team, Math Girl on the Restream, Farhan and Shniki the Lost on comms, and I don't know who the trackers are, and I can't see it on the overlay, but I want to thank you as well. So thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. I actually went strength agility on purpose, and it actually nearly... Whoever went strength agility, it might have almost cost them, because I think you saw 100 HP versus 93, so those that went strength agility and fought at level 12, they were flipping coins to be able to get a safe attack in. I think I swung out 47 at one point.
There were definitely some gambles for sure.
Yeah, but our trackers for this match were Archfield Monk and Kamiyan Renokai.
Yeah, I was actually considering, like, if I got enough red dragons, just going ahead and getting 13, but I just felt they were taking a little bit too long with just the broadsword, so I decided against that.
Yeah, well, it seems like we're going to have to be wrapping up here pretty soon so we can get this next match going on time in another 10 minutes. Any final thoughts from the runners before we wrap this up?
Just good luck to everybody involved, to the racers going into Three's company and to the racers coming after us in dealing with the cursed princess. So,
All right.
H.
In that case, this is Sneaky the Lost. With me in the commentator's booth is Ferran Burgundy, MathGirl78 being the restreamer, Kamiyan Renokai, Archfield Monk as our trackers for this. And see you in the next race. Have a great one.